Hi, good evening, everyone. We are having a few technical difficulties. Norm can explain why he is now a kind of cool. Is that like a ninja? What do you call those ninja things that you throw? The blade things. You've now turned into one of those.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm currently talking in my room because it's an absolute tip. I ordered a standing desk about 3 weeks ago, and I'm still waiting on the final box. So I'm on a temporary desk, and everything's lying everywhere. So I'm going to cheat tonight and just have low light. Hope you're all well. We have Norm Rogers on from Seller Toolkit. He's going to be talking about some issues around European Fulfillment Network, EFN, VAT settings on Seller Toolkit. So super important stuff. And yeah, we'll run a bit of a Ask Us Anything type session. So feel free, guys, to jump on, say hello, tell us where you're watching from, drop a like, drop a comment. Just really helps for other people to see the live and make this as interactive as possible. So without further ado, I'm going to share this link to a few people that wanted a reminder. Norm, do you want to say hello? And yeah.
Sure.
Uh,
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Hi, Lloyd. Hi, everyone. Sorry that you can't. I've got no camera at the moment. My laptop was basically like dead, and so I ordered a new one from Dell in November, and it has been taken 3 months for it to arrive, and it's due to arrive of all days tomorrow, one day late, and so therefore I don't have a camera on my main PC, my work STK PC, what I work on, so. And I didn't want to do it on my phone because that's just I'd have to hold it in my hand for an hour or half hour, whatever. So apologies for that, but I will be able to screen share if I need to. So.
no, I think your expertise and your bubbling personality, Norm, will more than make up for
And you can't see me drinking my beer. That's a good thing.
Yeah. We don't know if you've got any clothes on either. So, yeah. Anyways, moving swiftly on. So, yeah, the big kind of thing we're talking about is the European Fulfillment Network. With all things with Amazon, it's quite a dynamic situation. So, officially, it's to kind of go live 1st of March, and we're probably 16th of February. So, we're just under 2 weeks away. And yeah, there's quite a few things to be aware of. There's quite a few additional fees and so on, so forth. So, guys, we've got how many people do we have watching? We have, yeah, wow, 7. Some terrible feedback there, Norwood Lloyd. Well, maybe just talk a little bit more closely to the microphone. Hopefully, that's better. I'm not sure whose feedback is terrible, but hopefully that helps things. Let us know if that's a little bit better. Thank you. So, yes, Norm, do you want to talk through? I mean, we've got some kind of pre submitted questions and topics to talk about. So, kind of the first one. No, that was my issue. Oh, 2 windows open.
That'll
Well,
work.
well, make sure you close the window tonight because there's a bit of a storm coming. So, yeah. Yeah, it's blowing a gale out there. So, yes, first kind of thing to talk about is just what's involved in terms of shipping rates to Europe from the UK and the different kind of rates that are involved. So, do you want to jump in, Norm, and talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. First of all, I'll say that one of the biggest questions I've been asked about EFN is, will STK handle EFN? And STK has been around for live 2.5 years. And running our business for another 2.5 years before that, so 5 years. So EFN only stopped December 31st, 21. So it was repricing and handling EFN right up until December 31st Brexit. So yes, STK does handle EFN. That's the first things I'll say. The next thing is that although EFN is starting off on the 1st of March, there are a couple of users that seem to be able to get EFN already. And I'm using their base for testing out and making sure that there's no other differences, which there seem to be a few differences. But we're ironing those out at the moment. So far, there's only one difference that I need to change STK for. But one of the biggest questions was to do with people not understanding EFN, not understanding the fees, not understanding the shipping and the VAT. Before Amazon announced that we could start doing EFN a few months ago, some of us were still able to sell items, or we didn't even know we were able to, but it was happening. So somebody from Ireland could log on to a UK Amazon account and order one of your items, and without you knowing it, and even if you were not VAT registered, you were being charged VAT, this IOSS VAT, which means where Amazon would withhold a VAT amount on your item to pay to the VAT. So if you were selling an item for 30 quid, 1/6 of that roughly, what's that, 1/6 of 30 quid? Fiver, right? So a fiver would be held back and you'd get 25 quid, and all of a sudden you've made a massive loss. So everyone was scrambling around, how do I stop this? So you went in and there was a way to stop global selling, so you would not sell anything outside of the EU. Sorry, outside of the UK. So now when they've started EFN, we all got that email a few weeks back, and we all read the information that they gave us, and it was as lacking as you could expect from Amazon of exactly how this is going to work. So if we were charged IOSS tax withheld before, are we going to get charged this IOSS VAT when we sell something from the UK to France or to Ireland or to Germany? It seems not at the moment. It seems that it's going back to what they call their EFN fees. Now, an EFN fee is a bumped up fee that Amazon have worked out in their whatever their wisdom is to work out what these fees are, but they're huge compared to the fee that you sell something in the UK for. They're going to be double generally, at least 50% to double the amount, which means obviously that your pricing needs to be very, very different. And you'd think that if you were pricing something up that much higher because of the EFN fees, that you're not going to make any money. You're not going to sell, and it's quite true, because if there's a German, somebody selling in Germany, a German seller, then their fees are going to be like our fees that are selling in the UK. They're going to be they're going to be half the price. However, it's still possible. In fact, Brexit took away 30% of our business. We were selling 30% of our stuff to Europe, and it does work. And we were selling some really like odd things as everything happens. A lot of things you sell, you think, well, how the hell did I sell that? And we were selling tons of stuff, tons of particular items that you could probably only get in the UK that were being sold over there. So that worked out really well. So it does work. STK works for EFN. There are a couple of sellers that are selling right now, which are causing a small issue with the repricer. And now the repricer is still working, don't get me wrong, it always has done. But what's happening now is that I think where Amazon have been able to sort out, implement something to get over the IOSS, I don't know. Sorry, let me go back. The EFN fee used to include the shipping. So if there was something coming from the UK, the EFN fee is European Fulfillment Network. That's what EFN stands for. The EFN fee was your normal Amazon fee, your normal FBA fee, your normal referral fee. But the FBA fee part of it was bumped up even more to include the extra shipping. So that EFN fee still seems to be the same. So it's still a large fee to include the shipping. But what they also do So once you set up your listing on DE, for instance, on Germany, and you go and look at your offer on DE, sorry, look at your offer, you will see that it has a shipping charge on there. So Amazon have added another shipping charge in much the way that they add shipping charges to people that are not Prime. But you don't see that until you go and pay for the item. But
so you're seeing an EFN fee and the shipping fee,
correct,
on the sales that you're actually getting from the sellers that are they're doing. I assume they're doing like a soft launch, and there's maybe some random sellers that so you're actually saying normally the FBA fee is whatever it is. That fee is being bumped up by maybe 50%, and then you're seeing an additional shipping fee on top of the EFN, and then there's also the VAT fee as well. So there's basically, are you seeing? Yeah,
but I'm not sure. No, I'm not. I have not seen the iOS VAT being withheld on these, which is I don't know how that works. This is the bit that I said when we looked at that email that came through us and looked at the link. There was nothing on there about the VAT. So if you're exporting, normally you'd expect iOS VAT, but the people that are selling at the moment and have sold to Europe are not having this iOS VAT stopped, whereas they would have done before they changed things.
Right. Okay, that's interesting.
So yeah, it is. It's like the email that came through. If you click on the link and read about the VAT on there, it says absolutely nothing about how it works. And I think we're going to find out for the first time on the 1st of March. Although having what I've seen so far, they're not. I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know how they've managed. Maybe they've done some shake hands with the government's usual and tax and stuff. And but they're charging like if you look at your list,
the governments aren't going to agree to anything that's going to.
No, I don't know. But
tax coming through,
no, exactly.
Especially with everything that's going on.
Who knows? Yeah, but
they've got inflation to pay for and all sorts of different things.
Amazon are like set up in where are they, in Holland, isn't it, or something, where they have where they don't have to pay VAT or something. Yeah, so whatever it is, how it works, I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. There is something very strange. So they bundled on about $2.99 or $3.99, I think it is, on shipping. Maybe they're calling it shipping. Maybe they're using that amount as like a lump sum that will be part of the VAT. It doesn't make sense because the EFN includes the shipping. So why are they including this extra shipping? The only way we're going to find out is by contacting the Seller Central and saying, can you explain this? And all they'll do, I haven't done it yet, they'll send you the same link that we've already read, and which says nothing about iOS VAT. But at the moment, I've not seen it. I don't know how it's working. Maybe in an account.
Are you seeing this? Are you seeing the same shipping rate on all kind of sales amounts? So even if it's it's not going to be anything. You're not really going to be able to sell anything less than kind of 12, 15 quid on EFN, really, with all the fees.
Exactly, exactly, because he's just going to bump it up. So something that would normally sell for a tenner is going to be like 20 quid. You're going to have to sell it for 20 quid to still get your same ROI. So,
are you seeing the same shipping cost on baskets or sales amounts that are 20 quid?
I don't know.
Does it go up?
Yeah, I honestly don't know. At the moment, I don't know, and that's something I've got to with the people that have got the EFN at the moment. I'm going to have to go through their data and start mining it and seeing what's really going on. But that's the work that starts actually from tomorrow, is to understand what this shipping's all about and to take a look at the tax and to get the guys that I'm working with on board so that I can see the breakdown of each of theirs, from Seller Central, the breakdown of their order, so I can see everything that's included and not included at that point. But it's getting to that point. It really is getting to that. So it's by the fact that Amazon have brought this in, they feel it must work, and it's going to work. let's see. Let's see.
Yeah, it was interesting. We were just talking before this quickly, and you mentioned about the API guys, and the API guys are kind of working in the dark as well.
Yes.
So, yeah, do you want to talk a little bit about that and how you kind of got into that conversation?
The guys who put the API, in case anybody knows, application program interface is where how STK talks to other software. So it's talking to Amazon through their API. Now, the guys who build the data for the APIs and build all the processing for the APIs are completely different company. Well, they're Amazon, but they're a different, hugely, like almost a separate company that have no insight into really how Amazon works. So they're working kind of like in the dark themselves. And I only found that out because I pushed and pushed and pushed about some repricer issues that I was getting, and pushed it so far that in the end they said, we have no sight of what is going on the other side of the wall. So they have to they see the data, but they don't know how it actually works. So they don't know how the buy box works. They don't know. I mean, I've got a great idea. I know very much how the buy box works because I've got all the data that's worked it out. And that's why I argue with the API guys so much, because you said, I keep saying, you're giving me duff data. That's not the data that's correct. And I've had arguments with them to the point where at one point, a couple of years ago, they said, this is the end of the conversation. So, because I don't give up, and I won't give up when I see something wrong, and you guys see something wrong, and I say, well, unfortunately, I've been down this road of Amazon, and they've just told me to go screw. So, yeah. So
I think that's probably. I mean, I'm not a tech person whatsoever, but my experience with kind of big corporate companies like that is that they'll have those departments siloed, so that there's no. I'm going to put it. So it's things like if you're contacting the API guys and it's like business sensitive information, there won't be kind of any leaks or any kind of security issues because that knowledge is siloed with that department and there's no need for that department. And it's kind of just the way those big companies work, that they like to silo things. Because I know that if you speak to, is it account health? So account health and account health, and then the department that escalates above that, they work in the same building, but they have separate car parks, separate canteens. They're not allowed to talk to each other, all that type of stuff. So it kind of protects the company and protects and just keeps kind of compliance and just makes it's easier for compliance, basically.
Yeah. Well, you can see
probably why, but you would expect the API guys to know.
Yes, you would. That's exactly so. You can see why people are siloed. You know, compliance and people like that can't be drinking with the guys that are doing the work. But even though I've worked for banks and I know lots of compliance people, because you do need to keep a separation. But in this particular instance with the API, and they're just guarding the data in a way that I am from them, it's just ridiculous to be, it's just absolutely ridiculous. They should understand the data. They should understand how everything works. So at least the information that's been supplied by the APIs is 100% accurate. And that's why, STK is built because the API data or the data on Amazon itself is just absolutely all over the place. I mean, as we know, you just can't put everything together. People download spreadsheets and try and hook them all together, and they think they know what's happening, but I can assure you, anybody who does that does not know what's going on.
Yeah, it certainly keeps it interesting and fresh, I suppose, is the way to look at it. So, guys, we've got 10 people watching. I know Philip Dyke is our first commentator. So hello, Philip. So let us know who's watching, where you're watching from, and anything that you'd like to know. I'm sure if you're watching, you're probably using STK. If you're not, and you want some information around that, I'll pop a link to Norm's group, and you can check that out in the chat. So I'll just do that now, just while we're here and talking about it. So yeah, guys, if you want to let us know where you're watching from, that would be awesome. And just to make this a bit more interactive. So yeah, that's kind of it covered as well. You're not actually seeing the VAT being added to those sales and that charge being added then? Is that what you're seeing, Norm? Just to kind of cover my notes from kind of submitted questions.
Yeah, so far the guys who are selling in Europe have not seen any of the IOSS held back.
Interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay. And you're seeing an additional charge of shipping being added, and it's around €3 or €4. Is that right?
Yeah, $3.99. I think it was the price that I saw on some of them. Again, whether that's based on the price of the item or not, that's something I've got to data mine tomorrow, this week, and work out what those shipping charges are, if they change.
Cool. So from kind of 1st of March onwards, well, yeah, I suppose you would need repricing rules set up for Europe. Would you need them? Potentially, would you need them for each marketplace? Would that be?
Well, the reprice is all set up anyway. It all works. It's working fine. What the problem is that it's not taking into account the shipping that Amazon have added on top.
Okay.
So, which is going to be a very simple fix. It's just going to take a couple of days to implement. But that's it. That everything else works. But your rules at the moment, there's no rule for UK and then another rule for EU or another rule for DE. There's nothing like that because people have asked for that. But I can implement it. It's going to make things so much more complicated for everyone, because at the end of the day, you're selling something and you say, I want a minimum ROI of 20%, for instance. It doesn't matter where you sell it. It doesn't matter whether you sell it in Germany. It doesn't matter whether you sell it in the UK and you want minimum ROI. Then that's going to be your minimum ROI, regardless how much the item sells for. If it sells for 20 quid in the UK, but sells for €40 in Germany, you're still going to end up with your ROI is never going to be less than 20%. So that's that's what the whole idea of STK was, or repricer was, to make things simple. So you're not having to put minimum maximum on every single item, because that's just madness in my mind. You wouldn't get the shop owner down Costco doing that. It's everything is he wouldn't be able to sell anything.
Yeah.
So the thing is that your ROI is the same. Now, if there's a lot of demand for people saying, no, I want one I want to have a default rule for UK and a default rule for Germany and a default rule for the EU, and there's a lot of demand for that, I can build that. It's not a problem, but it's going to get very complicated. People are going to have then, instead of their 3 or 4 rules, they're going to multiply that up by 6 markets. Do you know what I mean? It's like, seriously? The
only benefit that I would see there, Norm, is say, well, it for me, based in Northern Ireland, returns are complicated because I can't actually get my returns direct from Amazon because of Brexit. So I have to recall it to a prep center. It sits there, then it comes back to me, or they deal with it. So that's a real pain in the backside. There's an additional fee for that, and there's obviously a lot of time involved in that. Now, with refunds, or not refunds, with returns in Europe, I would say, if I'm being super cynical and kind of cautious, there's not very much set up for that. And to kind of cover potential additional losses with returns, it might be beneficial to have a higher default in Europe, I don't know. That would be my kind of thinking with my kind of experience with returns, not being able to get them myself. So that's a good
point.
That
is a good point, Lord. That's something where you can turn and say, well, yeah, no, maybe there is, but do you have it for UK and just EU?
Yeah, just anything outside the UK.
Exactly. Whereas some people are asking for like individual countries, which I think will just be bonkers, and I think people will just lose where they are, and they'd be asking me questions, and I go, "You're kidding me? I'm not going through that." Yeah. So maybe. So if there's a call for it won't take a lot for me to introduce something like that. But you're absolutely right with the returns. So we had something ourselves that ended up just very recently, and just like literally in the last few weeks, and it's something that we sold before Brexit has turned up and is now stranded in Germany or somewhere. And
we've had that too.
You can't bring it back. So you just say, well, dump it, So
there's always something. We had a load of inventory go live recently, and it's just like, when did we even buy that? It's like, pre-Brexit. When was Brexit? Started 2020. Jeez, yeah.
So there we go. So EFN is. I've got people with it. The points are, I've got people that are sitting on EFN. So far, I'm not seeing any IOSS. There's a shipping charge that's been added. People are still able to make a profit, and STK is working as expected, and the repricer just needs to be amended to include shipping. So that's where we are. So everything is the same so far. So I may have a very, very, very busy 1st of March. Then again, I might be with feet up. So we're going, yes, everything's fine. So we'll see.
Well, fingers crossed you've got your laptop by then.
Well, yeah, that's like I said. I was told by the support people it's arriving tomorrow. Yeah. Between 8 and 8 p.m. I'm thinking, great. So I've got to be around all day now.
Yeah, nice vague window for delivery. Not very helpful at all. We'll cover kind of some. Oops, what am I doing? Yeah, we'll cover some questions and the super important and kind of super interesting topic of VAT in a few minutes. But I'm just going to drop a link for a call, discovery call. Basically, guys, we've got our Amazon Arbitrage Blueprint course and program that we've been running for a couple of years. We launched our Amazon Wholesale Blueprint just before Christmas for beta testers, and we've now kind of proof of concept. We've updated things, and we're starting to see some real social proof. We've also added to our arsenal some software that is it's basically doing wholesale with cheat mode on. That's basically what it is. It's insanely detailed. It is not to use too many cliches. It's a bit of a game changer if you're involved in the wholesale business. Now, the software itself, the developer is kind of in most Facebook groups. He's very, very, he doesn't comment. He doesn't particularly want to engage or make himself known, but he is 8-figure Amazon seller. He has a team of 30 VAs. He is also a pharmaceutical company owner, and he's also a consultant. He's a medical consultant as well. He's one of the most capable guys I've met, and he's an absolute gentleman. And we're very lucky to kind of have him using us to get the software out there to people. So we're given preference to wholesale blueprint clients to test this software, see if we can break it, and basically implement changes if and when needed. The software is thereabouts. It's incredible. So what we're doing in a couple of days' time, well, tomorrow, from tomorrow midnight, we're putting the price of the Amazon wholesale blueprint up. At the moment, the price of the blueprint, it's for nothing compared to other programs that I've done and what's currently out there. At the moment, it's cheap at twice the price. So even after Thursday, and if you're still sitting on the fence, and once you see some kind of social proof come out from the wholesale blueprint, get yourself involved, because that software is, yeah, it's game changer. So I'm going to drop a link to book a discovery call. So if you are interested in getting, taking advantage of basically Eamon, his experience building a 7-figure Amazon business, and the software that's going to be available soon, get yourself booked on a call, find out what it's all about, and if it's for you, you'll not regret it. If not, at least you'll know what it's about. So we're still taking calls tomorrow for it, and we're kind of closing that offer at midnight tomorrow. It's still going to be available, but it's not going to be available at the early bird price. So fair warning, I'll put an email out later on as well. And yeah, get yourself booked onto that if you're interested. So without further ado, we'll move across onto VAT settings in Seller Toolkit, because I think that you would get quite a few questions around VAT, Norm. Is that fair to say?
VAT, yeah. There's a lot of questions about it. When somebody new joins STK, they ask questions about VAT, and when somebody's about to go VAT register, they ask me questions about VAT. And there's a lot of confusion with VAT, which is fair enough. I just think it's something that's quite simple, but it's not from an accountancy point of view, I could say. But from VAT is there's not much to it from a personal or business perspective. But yeah, I get a lot of questions.
What's the most common question that you get?
The most common question is when somebody fires up STK for the first time and they see, like, so as you know, on the inventory or on the orders, you'll see the breakdown of the cost. You'll see the sale, you'll see your COG, and you'll see the fees, and you'll then see VAT. And somebody who's just joined, they haven't done any VAT settings, they're not VAT registered, and they say, why are all my items showing VAT? I'm not VAT registered. I don't pay VAT. Thinking everybody pays VAT, but some people just don't. They actually believe that I'm not VAT registered, so why is it showing VAT? So the reason it shows VAT on your feed on when you first look, you just joined, you're not VAT registered. SD comes as non-VAT registered. So you have to set up your settings if you are VAT registered. So it's out of the box, assuming you're not VAT registered. So what happens is that they'll see the fees are £3, and they'll see this VAT of 60p. And they'll say, why? What is this VAT? What you know? I've just looked at my Amazon, and when I look at the fees on Amazon, it says they're £3. And I go, they are. Fees are £3. But what Amazon don't tell you is that there's VAT on top of that. So if you use the Amazon calculator, it will say £3. Now, it won't say that in your Amazon Seller Central. If you go to Amazon Seller Central and look at the fees there, it will have £3.60. But if you're using the calculator beforehand, if you rely on the calculator to make your buying decisions, don't do that for a start. Use a decent sourcing app, because that will then put the VAT on top. So the reason STK shows the fee as as net of that is because of most apps, especially Amazon app, shows it as net of that too. So then the VAT is the extra 60p. So your fees are £3.60, but 60p of that is VAT. So that's what I try and get across to people, first people that they come across quite surprised because they thought it was £3 because they send me screenshots of the Amazon app that shows it as £3. And I say yes, but that doesn't include the VAT, I'm afraid. So that's one of the biggest questions of new people that have joined that don't understand VAT. And everyone pay. If you go and buy a £30,000 cast, once £5,000 of that will be VAT, but nobody ever thinks about that.
It's pretty crazy when you think about it. It's just on pretty much all items that you'll buy apart from food, really, and kids' clothing, different bits and bobs.
It's either on you still pay VAT. I'm pretty sure you do. You still pay VAT on gas and electricity. I think it's 5%, but it's still VAT on your gas and electricity.
It's funny you say that because I'm actually got my gas bill here and it's a fortune. 5. It's went up big time. So it's 5% on gas. But so I think we've got time. Did you want to talk? There's a permalink or a pinned post in STK, so I'll share that in the chat. Did you want to do a bit of a mini walkthrough? On the VAT settings?
Yeah, sure. So what I'll say is that I'll put a link underneath this this post for the link into STK that tells you what the VAT setting should be, because there are so many VAT settings for you. You could be non-VAT registered. You could be VAT registered on flat rate. You could be VAT registered, on standard rate. And you may go from non to flat 6.5 to flat 7.5 and then go full standard. So STK, accounts for all of that. And if you change your VAT settings in STK will go back and recalculate all of your orders based on the dates that you've entered. But the most important thing with VAT settings in STK is that they have to be 100% accurate. The dates that you put in there have to be accurate. Otherwise, you're going to get, garbage in, garbage out. So STK does not use the VAT that Amazon come up with, and the reason being is that there are times that people make so many mistakes with their VAT codes on their listings. So you may be selling a grocery item, say, a 5-pack cornflakes, and you should have on your VAT listing that has 0 VAT. It's food, it's 0 VAT. But if you haven't got that setting, Amazon just assume it to be general tax. And if you sell that to a customer in the Isle of Man who does not pay VAT, then if you're selling that item for £20 and your profit is on that is £1, that customer is going to buy that at net of VAT. They're going to buy that item at net of VAT. So I don't know what that is, 17 quid-ish, right? So what happens is that you've now lost £3 on that item. You were only making £1, so you're now down a couple of quid.
You're in the hole,
Yeah. So you've got to have your VAT settings correct in STK, and you've got your VAT codes correct on your listing. So one of the biggest things that everyone's been able to manage to do in the last year or maybe more is to, if they are VAT registered now, is to get their VAT back that they've paid on fees when they were non-VAT registered, when they were running as a business. And then from going forward, that their fees no longer have VAT on them. And so that's what, so somebody that's not, let's see if I can do a share.
Yeah, I'll bring your screen. Yeah, bring it in now. It just takes a wee second. And then I'm going to need to dip out. So yeah, I'll be listening in, so I'll know when to kind of dip in again. So just bear with me.
Okay. Right. Reasonably simple. So those people who have been told that they don't pay VAT on their
Can't
fees
actually
anymore.
see anything just yet. There's nothing actually coming through. It's just
Oh,
a
really?
blue screen. Unless it's
Oh, I can
just
see it. I can see it. That's not good. It says shared screen.
Oh, it is. It's just on. That's really weird. It's just on this feed. I can't see it. Right, carry on. Ignore me. Cheers.
So everyone else can see it, yeah? Okay, cool. Right. So if you're not VAT registered and you've been told specifically by Amazon that you do not pay VAT on your fees anymore, then you just need to enter the date that happened. So let's say that was, the 2nd of January 2022. Do that, do your update, and what will happen then, STK will go back and recalculate all of your estimates, all your estimated profits, which are on your inventory. It will take the VAT off your items. It will set up for a repricer to go and reprice everything, because now you're not paying fees, VAT on fees, and it will go and recalculate every single order since the 2nd of the 1st. And so you've got, just that one change, you've got everything going to be done for you. You don't have to go back, because a lot of people, another question people say, will it work if I backdate, the date? And, damn right it does. It'd be pointless otherwise, so everything gets recalculated. Then, if you are VAT registered, you become VAT registered, you don't need that date. You can leave it there, but you don't need it. It's pointless. It's ignored if you're VAT registered. And you might be flat rate. And if you're flat rate, you need to enter your rate. And there's a discount rate for your first year of 6.5. It's normally 7.5. So you put in your rate and you put in the date you're registered. If you're flat rate, you shouldn't be registered for Amazon calculations. Now, if you're VAT registered, standard VAT registered, totally recommend that you are registered for Amazon's VAT calculations. That means you don't have to worry about doing your invoicing for customers. Your invoice is going to be generated by Amazon, and the customer can download the invoice. It's got nothing to do with you. You're hands-free for you. So if you're VAT registered, standard rate VAT registered, you be VAT registered with Amazon VAT calculated registered. If you're flat rate, I would not recommend it. And the reason I don't recommend it, I've seen a lot of people do this, is that, again, you've got this situation where if you're registered with Amazon as VAT registered, they don't know whether you're flat rate. They just assume you're standard rate. So again, you're going to sell something to somebody who doesn't pay VAT, say in the Isle of Man, Guernsey, and if it's a 20% item, they can buy it net of VAT. Now, if they buy that item net of VAT, you've lost again your few pounds on your sale. And not only that, you're still going to pay VAT on the price. So you're going to still pay another 6.5%. So say if you're selling an item for £24, so that's net of £20. So you're going to get £20 instead of your 24 quid. So you've lost £4 straight away there. Plus, you're going to pay 6.5% of that £20 as well. So you're going to make a massive loss. So I say this a lot to people. If you're flat registered, do not be registered for VAT calculations, Amazon VAT calculations. So that's, in fact, this is my opinion only. I'm not an accountant. I'd never be flat rate. I've done it before in another business. I'd never do it again. In the Amazon business, it really does not make sense. To me, it does not make sense. I've seen an accountant online saying, "Yeah, do." No, totally disagree with him. But you make up your mind with your accountant. So if you were to be flat rate from, say, I'm not going to change any dates to save anything. I don't want to screw up my account. So you put in your date that you were registered for flat rate. Now, what would happen then? At some stage, 1 year later, you would then go on to 7.5. So you just add this, like there's that one there. You just add again flat rate, and that's 7.5. now, and then from the date after that. What was that? I can't remember what the date was. So it'll be a year later. So 2/1/18. This would be 2/1/2019. Did you get that? Because now you're 7.5%. And then you might decide, now going forward, I'm going to be standard rate. And then you decide that you're going to go standard rate at some point in 20, like say, let's 1st of April 2020, you go standard rate. And then you need to find out the date that Amazon VAT calculations, you are registered with them. You might register them straight away on the 1st of 4th, 2020, but it takes about a week, maybe 2 weeks for Amazon to actually register you. So you put in a date in here. So let's say it's just a month for ease. So it'll be the 1st of the 5th, 2020. But those dates absolutely must be 100% accurate. Now, in the post that I've put in the STK group, which I said I've put a link to, it tells you exactly what to do there. So it's just, this is a summary of what you need to do. You can delete these entries, you don't need them. Or, you know, but if you're going from one rate to another rate, don't delete the rate. You need to keep the rate there, because what would happen if you said, "Oh, I was standard rate, I was flat rate at 6 months, now I'm standard rate," and put in the standard rate dates in, it would recalculate all of the items that you were at flat rate, and now calculate them as if you were not even registered. So that's why you have different entries. Yeah. So I hope that makes sense. It's not that complicated. It's just need to know the date of the start of it, of your registration. It's as simple as that. Just put in your start dates. If you're standard rate, you don't need the date fee stopped. That's all. That's all you need to do.
Cool. Yeah, that's.
There's one thing that, again, another question I get asked is on the cog sheet. It has a VAT rate on the cog sheet.
Yeah, I think that's Sebastian. So
right.
I think that'll kind of cover what you're referring to. So how does STK consider the VAT paid on the buy cost price in the cog? I think the VAT should be included.
Yes. If you look at the headings on the cog sheet, it says include VAT. All the headings of all the costs that it says in the heading, unit cost including VAT, shipping cost including VAT, prep fee including VAT. So all costs must include VAT. Now the VAT that's used is the VAT of your marketplace. So your UK, it makes an assumption. It's making the assumption that you bought the item in the UK. The UK is standard rate of 20%. So that item.
Germany's 19, isn't it? Yeah, Germany's
19. They're all pretty similar. So you're not going to have a huge difference. I mean, there's I think it's 19, 20, and 21. I think Ireland's 23, but that doesn't count because that's Ireland.
Poland is 23. Ireland, let me get this right. I should get this right. Ireland's 23, and Hungary is 27. So if you get any sales in Hungary, it's like 27%, which is pretty interesting. It's went up from 19% in December 2020, so it's went up quite a lot in Hungary. So So
the VAT code. So also is that all costs must include the VAT. Now, if there is a cog upgrade coming up, so that you can put in the whether it includes VAT or doesn't include VAT, because there's a lot of your sellers now that are buying items that they say there's no VAT on, and I'm trying to say, well, there is VAT on it because you would have paid it somewhere. Yep, and like if you're buying something wholesale, they'll say, well, I didn't pay VAT on it. Because no, you did. It will be on your VAT return.
Yeah, be on your
So you
you'll
still
have to pay
have,
it.
yeah, you have to
Yeah,
pay
it's
it
your
somewhere.
input rather than
It's exactly, it's an input. So people say, no, I didn't pay VAT because no, you did. Okay, so you still need to add your 20% on. So if you bought a load of items from wholesale, and it says here's your net price, add your 20% to it. I'm sorry, you've got to add your 20% to it. At the moment, I will change the COG process so you don't have to. So you can say just simply includes VAT or not, and then STK will take care of it.
Great question from, sorry to cut across. You carry on there. There's a great question from Stephen. Yeah. When you've got a wee minute, just answer that.
Yeah. So no, I'll just say that the VAT code on STK is the VAT code for the item. Yeah. Has nothing to do with your cost. It's the VAT code for the item. And it's totally meaningless if you're not VAT registered. Ignore it. Leave it. It's set to 20 because that's easy. It's set to your whatever marketplace standard rate is for your marketplace. So if you see it's 20, you have to start. Some people go through and change them all to 0. I'm saying you're wasting time. There's no point. Leave it. It's pointless. It's immaterial. So it's 20 for everything. The only thing is if you are VAT registered, that must be accurate. So all you need to go through is work out which items are not VAT registered and put 0 in there. And that's all you need to know for the VAT code on the COG sheet.
Yeah. Yeah. Great question. Thank you, Norm. Great question from Stephen. So super important to get this right. Do you want to answer this, Norm? So Stephen's asking, when I upload COGS onto Seller Toolkit with VAT codes, should that update the codes on Amazon? So what Stephen's talking about, nappies. Say for example, if you bought nappies, that code on Amazon will be just defaulted to 20%. So if you upload your nappies or whatever it is, your cornflakes that you've bought and it's VAT exempt, there's 0% VAT, does that update Seller Central to reflect that in there?
It doesn't.
It doesn't. So, Stephen, that's something that you need to.
But the STK helps you out here. Okay, so what happens is that there's no real easy route to change those. But what you can do is you can go to reports on STK and download the VAT code report, which is the inventory upload file. So if you've entered all your VAT codes in your COG correctly, you then download the VAT codes report for UK, which is the Amazon report, Amazon upload file. I can't remember what they call it. The upload.
I'm just on it now. So is that inventory load VAT code?
That's the one. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So the inventory load VAT code. So you download that.
4 from the bottom. Yeah. 4 from the bottom.
And then it will, when you download it, and it will take you then to Amazon SC, where you upload it, and that will just change all your codes for you.
Yeah. So it won't do it automatically, but there's like
it's a manual process. You're going to have to upload your cogs, wait till your cogs have uploaded and everything. It says, yeah, all hunky-dory, all done. Download your VAT code report from STK and upload into SC.
Yeah. Yeah, really, if you're kind of struggling with those types of things, admin and all the rest of it, it's a beautiful segue into what I'll be doing next week. So next week, we are launching, March, we're launching a case study month for VAs. So we hire, train, and recruit both sourcing and admin VAs. So I'm putting something together. There'll be a small case study group for anyone that hires a VA through iGen over the next few weeks. So I'll be talking to someone about their experience next week. And if kind of running reports and all that type of stuff is something that doesn't really appeal or you don't really have time to do, certainly doesn't appeal to me, we have a service where, you can hire a great person to basically manage that aspect of the business for you. So I'll drop another link to book a call to discuss that. So I'll be talking about that next week with someone who's basically had that experience and how they've got on and kind of the benefit of that. So I'll share that again. Okay. So message back. Oops. I'll just bring that comment. Okay. So didn't know that. That explains all my missing codes on Amazon. Yeah. If you just pull that report, you're better off asking my admin VA. If you pull that report and then upload it to Seller Central, that'll fix it. There's probably a video in STK Norm on that, is there?
Pardon, say that again?
So the process of downloading the VAT codes from Seller Toolkit and then uploading it. Oh, yeah. I think we've just lost Norm. So there's bound to be a video on how to download that report in STK and then upload it to Seller Central. If there's not, we can do something on it, Steve, in the training if you want that. But yeah, Norm's now back. So yeah, I was just saying, Norm. I think you can probably still hear me, but yeah. If you want some help with that, Steve, just reach out and we'll get that done for you. Cool. So no worries, I'll work it out. Yeah, it's same with everything. Once you do it a couple of times, it's pretty straightforward, but it's just doing it really. Cool. So Norm, thanks for this evening. Been super interesting. Thanks guys for interacting and some great questions. And is there anything you kind of want to just end on, Norm, or anything like that?
No, I'm surprised that hour went so quick talking about such an exciting subject.
It's super exciting. VAT and rates and technical stuff. Yeah. Well, it's good. It's important to cover stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you need to know your numbers in this game. So especially with, I think like 2017, whenever I started selling, and pretty much all the mistakes new sellers make is generally not realizing there's VAT on fees, although that's kind of changed since. Putting your prices up for Europe, so basically selling stuff at a loss. And just stuff around prep. That's generally kind of the big mistakes that everyone makes at the start, including myself. I'm not too proud to admit that. And it's one of these things. So definitely, make sure you know your numbers. Don't rush into it. Take your time. Have confidence in it.
I think what's really, really important that everyone understands with EFN is that they're not the same fees that you will see if you saw your listing in Germany and you saw an inventory, it was €8. It's going to be probably 10 to 12 euros, and nobody knew that when I first fired up STK 5-6 years ago now on our own account. I couldn't believe we were making losses on our EU sales because we didn't realize how big the EFN fees were. So that was what I found. A lot of people, when they first started using STK before Brexit, they all said the same. Oh my God, I can't believe I've been losing so much. So the most important thing to do when you're setting up your BIL, your listings, I can't remember what BIL even stands for now. Everyone calls it bill, but to ensure that your prices are at least 50% more. So what Amazon do, you add a listing, it gets automatically added to the rest of the EU. And it says what price do you want it at. So always put it up at least 50%, more if you want to. And then let STK reprice it and take over and reprice it correctly.
Yeah, 50% is what we're going to work off when things go live.
Yeah, that's what we've always done. That's what we've always done.
Yeah, because you've got that kind of risk with returns, and any kind of returns that you're going to struggle to get back, or it's going to take longer to get back, you'll compensate with stuff that you do sell will be at a much bigger premium. That's kind of the way I look at it. And certainly yeah, it's going to be interesting. So thanks, guys, for logging in, and yeah, we'll see you next week. And thank you, Norm, for joining us.
Cheers. You're welcome.
Cheers, guys. Stay cool. Have a good one.